thank you for joining me for yoga. Today we're going to focus on doing a deep stretch, slow flow. Let's start in a standing position. We'll open the feet a little wider than hip distance. We'll just rock forward onto the toes and then back onto the heels. As you do this, let yourself get grounded. Pick up the toes, spread the toes, and really feel that nice foundation underneath the feet. Now from here, bring your hands to your hips. You can open the feet wider and start to take circles with the hips. Now these circles can be as big or as small as you'd like. And then when you're ready, you can circle around opposite direction. So as you're taking these circles, notice how your hips feel. Notice how your legs feel. Just taking inventory as we get started. Checking to see if one side feels different than the other. And if so, that's all right. All right, we'll find center. Now we're gonna open even wider. So we are in a wide-legged stance. Before we go any further, make sure that you're pressing to the outsides of your feet so much that it feels like the arches are lifting up just a little bit. If your legs are open wide and you feel that your legs are going to split apart, then shorten the distance until you don't feel that sensation of not having control of your standing position. Now, if you're in the wide-legged stance and you don't feel enough of a stretch, you can open the feet a little wider. You'll start to feel a stretch there at the inner thighs. Let's bring the hands back to the hips. Take an inhale breath. And as you exhale, hinge at the hips. Now, once you get to this halfway point, you can release your hands from your hips. Bring your hands down towards the mat. So now we're in a half lift. Now you're probably feeling more activation in the legs. In the half lift, we're just going to bend one knee while the opposite leg stays straight. And then we'll switch it up on the other side. As one knee bends, the other leg stays straight. Now, for those of you that need a little more support, know that your hands don't have to come all the way down to the mat. You can bring your hands to a chair or to the wall as you move from side to side. So the important thing is to move at your pace, to keep one leg straight as the opposite knee bends. Feel in control. You can even take your hands to your hips. Maybe take one more on each side. Good. And then we'll come back to center. Now let's take one foot to rotate. So right now the toes, all 10 toes are facing the same direction. We'll take one foot to turn the toes facing out to the side. Now as we do that, we'll bend that knee. With the knee bent, we'll try to position the alignment of the knee above the ankle, still pressing to the outside of the leg that's straight. Now, hands can stay on the hips or the arms can reach out. Your gaze is going to be to your middle finger of the arm above your bent knee. Feel the engagement in the hip and in the thigh. Now press into that leg, bring it back to straight. Bring the hands down to the hips. Turn the toes facing forward, all 10 toes facing the same direction. We're going to do the same thing now on the other side. So now this foot rotates out to the side and the knee bends. With the knee bent, the knee is tracking above the ankle, straight leg on the other leg, pressing to the outside of the foot. Now we fly the arms. We gaze to the middle finger above the bent knee. This is our warrior two. Feeling the engagement in the hip and in the thigh. We're strengthening. We're also going to be stretching. And then we press into that foot. Rotate all 10 toes back forward. Now, I'm demonstrating all of these postures in the free space. Please know that you can modify any way that you need to. If you need to bring a chair in front of you or to grab onto at either side, you're welcome to do that. You can also position yourself at the wall. So anything in your home space that's around you that you feel is going to be really supportive, please feel free to include that. Just paying attention to your body and the support that it's asking for in your practice today. Now, we're going to try Warrior Two again, and this time we're going to add on a little bit. So we'll start with the hands at the hips. Rotate one foot so the toes are facing the edge of the mat. The knee bends. Now, this is our Warrior Two. For support, hands can come to the wall or to a chair, okay? Stop anytime you need to and get the support that you need that's going to help you in your practice. Now, if you feel really steady and strong here, you can lower your back arm so that your palm finds your back leg. Now, as you inhale, you'll reach your front arm up, and then as you exhale, just reach it overhead enough to feel a stretch at your side body. Breathe. Keep the knee bent. And then press into your front foot, straighten it, and rotate the toes so all 10 toes are facing forward again. We're going to try that on the other side. Set it up, hands to hips, rotate the toes, come into your Warrior Two. Fly the arms, lower the back palm down to the thigh. Inhale, reach the front arm up, and then exhale, reach it overhead. Keep a bend in that front knee. Take another round of breath. And then rotate the arms out, press into the foot, rotate the toes facing forward. Take a breath here. Now, at any point in your practice, you can grab your water. I suggest taking sips instead of gulps. The reason why is because if we take gulps and we come into a forward fold, that's going to be really uncomfortable. So if you want to stay hydrated, I recommend that. Just take little sips throughout your practice, and then get ready to move again. All right, so we're starting to strengthen the legs. We're taking a few rounds of breath in each posture so that we can get a deeper stretch, so we can spend a little more time letting that muscle tension release. Let's come back to our wide legs. Now, if we look down to our feet, the way that we've positioned ourselves, the toes have been pointing forward, and then we're rotating them one at a time out. This time, we're going to move both sets of toes slightly out, which is going to position the heels slightly in. Now, lower your arms by your sides. Your palms will come somewhere on your thighs. Tuck your belly button towards your spine. Bend your knees as if you're sitting back looking for a chair. Now, your palms are on your thighs, your thumbs are in, your fingers are out. Just see how it feels to lower the hips even more. Maybe you even try moving from side to side. Now, if this doesn't feel good to you, you can take a higher lift, hands to a chair, and then rotate this way. Maybe your hands are stable at the wall. So please take whatever option works for you. This is your body that you get to have and experience and take care of, so really treat it well. All right, we're gonna come back to center. Now, we're gonna do some spinal twisting to detoxify and feel some shoulder stretching and also get some spinal mobility. Excuse me. Take an inhale breath. Exhale, one shoulder dips forward. Inhale, chest rotates back to center. Exhale, opposite shoulder dips. Inhale, find center. So each time we exhale, opposite shoulder dips. Our movement is following our breath. One more each side. Now we're going to press into the feet, back to standing. We'll give our spine a break. We're going to come back into our legs. So let's bring the toes in so that when we look down to our feet, our toes are in line with our heels. We're going to move from one side to the other like we were just practicing before. Hands to the hips. Make sure that you feel stable here before you move on. Rotate the toes out to one side, bend the knee, just like we did before. Now fly the arms, really press to the outer foot of the straight leg. Now here we'll bend the elbow at the same side of the bent knee. Forearm can come down to the thigh, or we can bring the back of the hand to the thigh. This is up to you. Now as you inhale, the top fingers come up, and as you exhale, your arm reaches overhead. You've got options here. This is going to be a deeper stretch with your forearm at your thigh. Make sure your forearm's not resting on your knee. If this is too much, remember your arm can be straight, back of the hand can be to the inner thigh. Inhale, back to warrior two. Woo, that's a lot of engagement. Press into the foot, rotate the toes forward, hands to hips. Let's take a full round of breath here. Inhale through the nostrils. Exhale, open your mouth, let it go. Other side. Rotate the toes, bend the knee. Find your warrior two. So this posture is called extended side angle. Press to the outside of the straight leg foot. Bend the elbow of the same side that you have the bent knee. Now, lower your forearm down or keep your arms straight and bring the back of the hand to the inner thigh. This is a good starting point. Inhale, reach the fingers up, and then exhale, reach overhead. Nice deep stretch for the side body. Find your option. Notice where you feel sensation. Let the opening happen. And then on an inhale breath, rotate the arms to warrior two. Press the foot to the mat. Bring the toes forward. Let the arms come down. Now take your hands to your hips. Let's heel toe the feet back towards each other. Okay. Now we're going to go for a stretch for the quads. Remember, I'm demonstrating in the free space, but you're welcome to move over to the wall if you need that support. So what we're going to do is balance on one foot, one leg. I'll show you from a side view. I'm going to start with my feet hip distance. So finding the bony bits at the front of the hips, the feet go underneath there. So the feet aren't out wide, they're centered with the bony bits, okay? So that's hip distance. Now, once your feet are positioned hip distance, lean over to the leg that you're going to keep grounded. First, just come onto your toes. Let this leg know that it's going to lift. Now, you know that if you need support, you can take your hand over to the wall, or you can try it in the free space. If you're not sure, I recommend starting at the wall and then progressing to the free space. Okay, so the leg that you have a bent knee, let that same side arm come down. When you're ready, lift the toes off the mat. Reach your hand and see if you can connect with your foot. Now, those of you that are thinking, I can't reach my foot, I can't do this. Yes, you can, because we've got a really cool prop. So I've got a yoga strap. You might have one. If you don't need to worry. You can use a belt or a scarf or any other prop that's going to assist you. So what you would do if you couldn't grab your foot, if this was a big stretch for you, then what you can do is take the strap in one hand so it's at your wrist. As you hold on to it, let the loop, the fabric, catch the foot, and then you can pull the strap up to get the quad stretch, okay? So this is where you'll start. Now, if you don't have a strap like I do with the hoops, that's all right. You can use a scarf, and what you'll do is bring the ends together, and then the space between those two is where you would hook your foot and then pull it up this way. So you do have options, just be careful with your shoulder. Now, if you don't need the strap, you're gonna go back to grabbing your foot. So we grab onto the foot. The knee is positioned facing down, and we want the knees, both knees, to be in line with each other. Feel the stretch in the quad, and notice that the more you press your foot to your hand, the deeper you're gonna get the stretch at the front of the thigh. When you're ready to let it go, simply release the foot, place the sole of the foot down. Take a full round of breath. Exhale, let it go. All right, we're gonna do that on the other side. I'm gonna show you with the front view. Remember, you have your strap. One side might be different than the other. You might be able to grab your foot on one side. That's okay. If both of your sides don't match, that's totally okay. It's very normal for most people to have one side different than the other. All we need to do is meet our body where it is today and support it how we can. So, second side, start with the feet hip distance. Now lean to your foundational leg, come on to the toes of the leg that you're gonna lift. Remember, if you're using the wall, you wanna be close enough to where you can bring your palm to the wall with your arms straight, and this is gonna be the side of your foundational leg. Otherwise, you're gonna have your hands to your hips to start. Now, when you feel ready with your balance, lift your toes off the mat, so you're bending the knee. Now, lengthen the arm at the same side of the bent knee leg. This is where you're gonna use your strap if you can't reach your foot. If you can reach your foot, pay attention to keeping the knees in line with each other. Notice that the more you pull your foot, the deeper you're gonna feel the stretch at the quad. Breathe through it, and maybe take a little micro bend in your standing knee leg. Breathe, breathe, breathe. Don't forget about your wall prop if you need it. On your next exhale, slowly and gently come out, tap the foot down, and then open the feet. All right, so we're gonna give our legs a little break. They've done a good amount of work for us so far. Let's focus on the upper body for now. As you inhale, lift your arms out, reach your fingers in opposite directions. As you exhale, cross one arm over the other. Bend your elbows, see if your hands can meet, and then lift the elbows up. Now, if the hands can't meet, it's no big deal. There can be space between them. The important thing is to keep the elbows lifted so that you can feel a stretch at the shoulder of the arm that's on top. On your next exhale, slowly unwind the arms. Inhale, reach the arms out. And then exhale, opposite arm crosses over. Elbows bend, hands meet. Elbows lift. Hold the lift. Notice your breath. On your next exhale breath, gently unwind the arms. Inhale, reach the fingers out. And then exhale, take the hands down. Now let's bring one hand to our heart center and one hand to our belly. Take a little micro bend in your knees. So rather than having the knees locked out, little micro bend, pull the belly button in towards the spine. Close your eyes if this is okay for your balance. Notice your breath. Now, if you're having trouble in your standing position, you can stand up against a wall. That way you feel the support of the wall and you can simply focus on your breath. Now, whether the gaze is inward or not, let's take a pause to notice how we're breathing. Inhale all the way until you can't take in any more air. And as you exhale, practice releasing the air slowly. And then again, inhale slowly to the top of the breath. Exhale, release the air, slow, slow, slow. And again, one more time. Inhale to the top of the breath. Exhale, open the mouth, release. Let the arms release down to the sides. Firmly press the feet into the mat. Now from here, inhale, reach your arms up. As you exhale, hinge at the hips so that you can dive forward. As you dive forward, bring your fingertips or your hands down to the mat. If your fingertips or your hands don't reach, this is where we can incorporate some blocks. And the block has different heights, so you can choose which one is working for you. Now, as you fold forward, if you're feeling too much of a stretch, if this is too much for your legs, bend your knees. That's going to be a little more comfortable. Let the top of your head position down so that you're fully releasing your head and your neck. On your next inhale, take your palms to your shins, taking a half lift. Reach the crown of your head forward, send your tailbone back, energetically lengthening the spine. And now find your blocks. Invite them onto the mat if you haven't already. Bring the blocks outside of the feet. I recommend starting with the highest height. And pressing your palms to the blocks, we'll step the right toes back. The left knee is bent. We're supported with our blocks. Press your back heel back and maybe shift forward and back. Nice stretch for your straight leg. Now come back to stillness. Lift your hips. Step that foot halfway up, straighten both legs. If you feel sensation at the back of the front hamstring, you can stay here. If you need to go deeper, you can fold forward. 2 more rounds of breath. Inhale, straighten the arms. Exhale, step the right foot in line with the left and go into your forward fold. Inhale, find a half lift. Exhale, lift the left foot, step it to the back of the mat. Bend the right knee. Hands stay supported at the blocks. Press your left heel back. Feel a nice stretch at the calf muscle and the thigh. Maybe you rock forward and back, or maybe you prefer to be in stillness. Now come back to stillness. Lift your hips, straighten your legs, and step your left foot halfway up. With both legs straight, your choice to stay here, or you can bend your elbows, folding forward, getting a deeper stretch. Next time you inhale, take a half lift. Exhale, step the left foot in line with the right. Let the blocks go, come into your forward fold. Bend your knees and slowly rise up to a standing position. Inhale, lift the shoulders up to the ears. Exhale, take the shoulders back and down. And that feels so good. We'll take a few more rolls. Last one. Let the shoulders melt away from the ears. We'll continue to work with the shoulders. Now, if you do have a strap, and if you have shoulder tightness or shoulder issues, you're really going to want to work with the strap. If you have limited shoulder mobility or you have an injury, then you might want to opt out of this one depending on how your body feels. So the strap, belt, scarf, whatever it is that you have in your home space that you can hold on to, this comes behind your body. So you're making fists and you're holding on to this prop. Now, some of you might not need this. You'll know if you don't need this if you can bring your fingers to interlace and your palms together. It will be more gentle for your shoulders to work with a strap or appropriate prop. Now, once you have your prop behind you and positioned in your fist, or you have your fingers interlaced, come back to taking that micro bend in the knees. Pull the belly button towards the spine, standing in a way that's going to be more comfortable for your low back. Prepare to move with the breath. Inhale, lift the hands up. Exhale, lower them down. Each time you inhale, lift both arms up at the same time, and then exhale, lower down. Now, as you lift your arms, if you feel that it's too much, then what you're going to want to do on the inhale is take maybe a half lift, and then exhale, lower down. So we'll take a couple more, lifting on the inhale, lowering on the exhale. And again. And then lower the hands down. All right. We'll continue to work with our strap, especially for the next one. Now, when I first started this next stretch, this is a really great one for the triceps. It was very difficult for me to get my hands to meet behind my back. Now, because I've had lots of practice, I can do that. One side usually feels different than the other. If this is your first time trying it, I want you to really do it gently. So I'm going to suggest using a strap or appropriate prop that works for this. So the posture is to take one arm up. I'm just going to show you first. Bend your elbow. Now your opposite arm comes back. The elbow bends and the fingers or hands try to meet. Remember, this is asking a lot for your tricep and your shoulder if you've never done this at all. So a better way to start this is to take the strap, take it in your arm that you're gonna lift. Let the strap dangle. Now, once you have it secure in your top arm, bend your elbow. Hug the elbow in towards your head. Now you're gonna take your opposite elbow to bend, reaching the arm up as high as you can and grabbing somewhere on the prop. Now the goal is just to feel sensation at the tricep. You will likely also feel this at the shoulder. So the sensation will be here and here, okay? We just want to feel, we don't want to pull or stress. We don't want to cause pain, major discomfort, or anything that we feel that we can't control. So be really gentle with your body. Hug the elbow in, feel a nice stretch at your arm. And on your next exhale, let your lower arm release. Inhale, reach your top arm up, and then exhale, let it float down. Take the strap into the other arm. Remember, you're grabbing one end, you're letting the other end dangle. As you inhale, reach your arm up. As you exhale, bend your elbow. The strap is now going to be dangling at your back. Opposite arm bends and grabs onto the strap wherever it can reach. This side might be different. I'm working with a limitation on my right shoulder, so this side feels different for me. Just reach wherever you can. The elbow that you have lifted, hug that arm in towards your head. Feel a nice stretch at your tricep. It's okay if you also feel it at the shoulder. Stick with it. Take another 2 rounds of breath. You might even be able to walk your hand up the strap if the stretch isn't deep enough for you. On your next exhale, release your bottom arm. Bring it down to your side. Inhale, reach your top arm up, and then exhale, let it come down. Remove the strap. We're going to take a break away from it. We'll just do a quicker movement to release any stress and tension from the trapezius muscle. This is an area where if we touch it, oftentimes we can feel knots or tension. This is a place that feels really good to get massaged. So we're gonna practice a movement to help get rid of some of that stagnant energy. Find your firm standing position. As you inhale, shrug your shoulders up, and as you exhale, let them drop down. Inhale, shrug, exhale, drop down. Inhale, shrug, exhale, drop down. Continue to move and see if you can make the movement faster. But do this to your comfort level. Just a couple more shrugs. And let the shoulders sink away from the ears. Now let's get a deeper stretch for the neck. Again, we're going to try this with our arms. We'll see if one hand, one arm can come behind our back. If so, we'll bring the opposite arm back enough to make the connection. Now, if you can't make this connection, that's all right. I've got a different option for you. Your option will be to take your fingers to the front of your shoulder. Now, whatever option you're in, you're going to lean your head over to your straight arm. So whether you're here or here, you're stretching this side of your neck. Think about letting your ear sink down towards your shoulder. If you're grabbing your arm and the stretch is too deep, then you can release the arm, bring the fingers to the shoulder. Think about bringing the shoulder back and down. In this option, you can take your free arm to bring the fingertips above the ear. That's going to open up even deeper. And then exhale. Release both arms. Inhale, chin to chest, lift the head. Let's set it up on the other side. We've got the option to bring the arm behind, grabbing onto the other arm. And remember, if this isn't working for you, fingers come to the shoulder, head moves away from the bent arm. We also have the option to bring the fingertips above the ear. Think about bringing the shoulder back and down. Pause and enjoy this stretch. And when you're ready, gently release the arms. Slowly bring your chin towards your chest and then lift your chin. Your gaze is forward. From here, we'll move from a standing position down onto the ground. You can transition however you'd like to come onto the ground. When you come onto the ground, you want to make sure that there are some props around you. If you need support for your knees, I recommend a blanket, maybe an extra mat. This is going to be dependent on your flooring situation and how your body feels today. So I'm going to come down onto the mat by taking an inhale breath, lifting my arms up, and then exhale, I'm going to hinge at the hips. I'll connect my hands down. I'll bend my knees. And then I'll bring one foot back at a time. Now I'm in a seated position. From the seated position, I'll bring my hips to one side and my legs forward. From here, we're gonna get back into the legs. So now I'm gonna separate my feet. You'll know how much to separate your feet by the positioning of your legs. So if your knees are coming up really high, then we need to shorten the distance between the feet so that the legs can lay flat down. The only space you should have is that lift at the back of the knees. So we're opening opening the legs as much as we can without having the thighs and the calf muscles disconnect from our mat. So just like we did when we were standing, we have wide legs, and we're gonna come into a forward fold. Now, for people with knee issues, it might be more comfortable to sit onto a blanket. Now you will have space at the thighs, but having the hips lifted higher than the knees might be a little more comfortable for you. If you're fine sitting on the floor, you can do that. Now, blocks are also a great option. We can bring the blocks in front so that as we fold forward, we have a prop to rest onto since we'll be here for a couple rounds of breath. So setting up, coming into the posture. As you inhale, reach the crown of your head up towards the ceiling. And as you exhale, hinge at the hips, lean your heart forward. Now, maybe your forearms or your palms rest on the blocks or directly onto the ground. This is up to you. If you feel like you need a lot of support, you can take your two blocks and then you can grab a bolster or a pillow, whatever seems cushy and available in your space. Then your arms can rest on top, and as you fold forward, maybe your forehead even meets this prop. Stay here if you're comfortable, and for those of you that can fold a little more, you might need less propping. Now with each exhale, practice folding a little deeper. Now that we've had a couple rounds of breath here, you might need to reposition your props. If you're folding deeper, notice how your back feels. Know that you're getting flexion for the spine and stretching the muscles in the back. On your next inhale, lift your head. As you exhale, walk your hands towards your body. Find that straight spine. Your legs can stay like this if this is comfortable. Your knees can bend if this is more comfortable. Just know that when your knees bend, that's going to close the angle. That might feel not so great if you have knee compression. So you can bring the legs back straight, and you can also come on to sit onto a pillow or a blanket to get that hip lift to feel better for the knees. So we're gonna come into stretching the side body now from a seated position. Once you feel grounded and stable in your seat, bring your hands outside of your hips. As you inhale, let the arms rise up, fingertips towards the sky. As you exhale, let one hand meet the mat. Maybe the fingertips touch down, or maybe your palm. Now, if you're having trouble reaching your hand down to the mat, you can position a block right outside of your hip to rest your hand on. That's going to bring the floor up to you. Inhale, reach the fingers up, and as you exhale, lean over towards your grounded hand. You might notice if you want to bring your arm further out, you might even be able to come onto your forearm. Just make sure that both hips are connected to the mat and that your upper arm is positioned above your ear. So think bicep above the ear. Now, some of you are going to want to look up. If that hurts your neck, however, you can rotate your face to look down to the mat. That might be more comfortable. Now, as you reach through the arm and the fingers, feel the stretch of the side body intensify. Take another round of breath here. Inhale, reach both arms up. Exhale, opposite hand comes down. You want to have your hand positioned outside of your hip. If your fingertips can't touch down, take your block option. Bring the floor up to you. Inhale, lift the top fingers up. Exhale, fold over towards your grounded arm. Send the block out as much as you need to, and then reach through the fingers. Position the bicep above the ear. Remember, you can face up towards the ceiling, or you can rotate your head to look down towards the mat. Reach. Keep both hips grounded. And then inhale, lift up. Exhale, take the hands down. Now, if you did this with the support of the blocks, for the second round, maybe try it without the blocks. You'll find that at the second round, you're a little more open. So let's try that again. And of course, if you do try this and you prefer the blocks, please come back to them and do whatever you need to do to feel safe and supported in your practice. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Exhale, one hand touches down or fingertips. Inhale, top fingers reach up, and then exhale, fold over to your grounded hand or arm. Reach, reach, reach. As you reach through the fingers, press the hip down. On the next inhale, we'll sweep both arms up, and then we'll move in the opposite direction. Exhale, takes the hand down. Inhale, reaches the fingers up. Exhale, fold over. Notice how good it feels to take a deep stretch in your body. Almost time to come out. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, take the hands down. Okay, now if you're sitting on a blanket, you might have noticed by now, if you want to continue to sit on it or a block, or maybe you want to bring the hips all the way down, we're going to start to work on some torso circles. So I recommend placing the palms facing down to the thighs. From here, we'll bring one side of the ribs over towards the same side knee. As you inhale, send your chest forward. Bring it to the other side, and as you exhale, round the spine, bring the belly button towards the spine. Continue to move. Inhale, open the heart, send it forward. Exhale, round the spine. Keep taking your circles. This feels really good for the hips and the back. This is an opportunity to move stagnant energy. The side body is so important. This is the part of the human body that we stretch the least. Let's give it some love now. Now you might have noticed as you're taking your circles, if you feel tight or sticky in one area. If so, give yourself permission to pause there and get a deeper stretch. You'll learn a lot about your body by taking the pause and giving yourself time to remove any congestion. And then continue to move on when you're ready, when you feel that you've liberated that space. If you notice that your shoulders are creeping up to your ears, relax them down. And then start to move your body in the opposite direction. You might note a difference in the spine as you move in the other direction. Maybe not. And again, here you can pause anywhere your body's asking for a deeper stretch. Allow yourself to take a few rounds of breath anywhere you need more time. And then when you're ready to move on, continue. Remember to keep the hips grounded and remember to relax the shoulders. Each time you inhale and you open your heart and send it forward, you're cultivating love and compassion, working with the heart energy center, which is called Anahata. So this movement is called Anahata Kriya. And Kriyas are known as cleansing techniques. So we'll let the circles become smaller all the way until we bring our torso to center. From here, let's take one hand to the heart center and the other hand on top of the first hand. Coming into a breath work that's very similar to our cat-cow movement that we do from a tabletop position. As we inhale, we'll open the heart, send it forward, feel extension in the spine. As you exhale, bring your heart and your belly button in towards the spine, shoulders rounded, for flexion of the spine. Inhale, open the heart, send it forward. Exhale, bring it in. Working with spinal mobility. And also, this is a really great breath to take if you're feeling a little out of balance and you need to just find a tool to come back to feeling like yourself. This is a really great breath for centering. Let's take a few more. Finish off this last one. And then find center. Release your hands. Bring them back down to your thighs. Remember, at any point, if you need to switch up the positioning of your legs, you're welcome to do so. Take a deep inhale to the top of the breath. Exhale, open the mouth, let it go. Let's take a couple more rounds. And here we're really practicing slowing the breath as much as we can. Practicing keeping the body still, but feeling movement as the chest expands on the inhale and the torso softens on the exhale. You might even want to close your eyes, bringing your gaze inward and simply noticing how it feels to give yourself permission to find stillness so that you have this time to focus on your breath. If your eyes are closed, gently start to flutter them open, coming back into the space that you're in, preparing to move the arms for a few rounds before we close our practice today. Bring your hands outside of your hips. Inhale, reach the arms up. Palms connect. Exhale, bring the thumbs down the midline. Separate the hands. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Palms connect. Exhale, thumbs come down the midline. Separate the hands. Inhale, sweep them up. Gather all the energy that you need. Exhale, bring it into your heart center. Thank you so much for joining me for this practice today. Namaste. I'll see you next time.